I remember I hear a screech and I look over and there's a BMW a foot and a half off the ground about to hit me head on at a 45-degree angle. I saw that coming. I put my arms up and just braced for the impact.
Welcome to the Calgary Sessions. This is episode number 185. I'm your host, Jeff Humphreys. Before I get into it today, my only ask, if you dig this show, subscribe to it or leave a comment or do something. Please and thank you. Today's guest, this will be a fun one, recently has just launched his own podcast, which is cool. We'll get into that. Please name and who you are.
Yeah, Shawn Freeman. My podcast is Beyond Technology, but I am an entrepreneur in Calgary and I've been a business owner since 2011.
I don't do any research on anybody, not because I have an ego, because I don't want to know. I want this to be a very organic conversation. Sometimes I find, for me, like having a list, I just can't. It just pigeonholes me and the guest in a certain spot.
Yeah.
So I got nothing on you.
Cool.
I know nothing. So you say you've been a business owner since 2011. That's all I got.
Yeah.
So the gist of this show is I like the guests to go back as far as they want to go.
Okay.
Where they grew up, how they grew up, parents, siblings, school, work, all the random experiences in between that kind of got you on the path to where you are today. So that's the kind of the structure of the show.
Sure, yeah.
That's the only formal piece. That's it.
Cool.
So so walk this thing back. I'm really I'm curious to hear your story.
Yeah, I think one of my earliest childhood memories was when I broke my collarbone when I was about 10. I have earlier memories, but they weren't as impactful. So I broke my collarbone when I was 10 playing hockey with my dad and his friends. Total accident. One of his friends was like skating, looking behind him, and I'm a kid not paying attention, and he ran into me and landed on me and broke my collarbone. So that was interesting, I remember my dad being so distraught and but it came together, and that was pretty fun. I loved hockey, and that was an interesting part of my life. I was playing hockey and enjoying that and just being a kid, which was really fun.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up, I started growing up in Woodbine, and I moved around a bunch.
You're Calgary born?
In Calgary born.
Okay.
Yeah, born and raised here. So from then, I'd say the next memory that really hits home is just when my parents got divorced. So I woke up one morning and my dad said, I'm going to take you to the library. And I remember him telling me like, hey, hopefully didn't wake you up last night. And apparently my parents were arguing. And if anybody knows me, they know I'm a really good sleeper. So I didn't notice. I slept right through it. But they were getting a divorce. And that was a pretty big turning point in my life.
How old were you?
I was 13 at the time, yeah. So I had a younger sister, still do. She's 6 years younger than me. And so she was pretty young at the time. And from there, it just, it was a big blur of, craziness and not very good stuff, right? My parents, any money they did have went to lawyers. And, we had just, I think it was a couple years prior to that, bought our first house, which just happened to be in Forest Lawn because that's where my parents could afford. And then they get a divorce and the house went back to the bank, really. And so growing up through that, the one thing I do, I always look back and I think was the best thing my parents could have done is my dad gave me a computer at that time and said, here's a computer. I've kind of found some parts and helped me put it together. And it was a 386, like just real old, but it was pretty good at the time. And so put that together, that, gave me something to do, something to keep out of trouble.
When you were kind of going through all that, was the trouble thing like lurking? Like, were you trying to find ways to keep yourself busy and sometimes they weren't all that productive?
Yeah, I definitely. I think growing up in Forest Lawn, there's lots of ways to get into trouble if you're not focused on something positive. So the computer was a big part of that. But then also Boys and Girls Clubs of Calgary is really close to me. And I went to the club in Pembroke and was a club kid. And so that also helped keep me out of trouble. I did have like spurts of, bad friends and realized like, I gotta not be with these people, and
Yeah.
made the right decisions. And I think that was just primarily driven because I had the right supports. The club staff, would steer me in the right direction. Computers kept me kind of preoccupied. I got into lots of the torrenting. So couldn't afford software or
Did.
games, so I just got them for free. So that was a lot of fun.
On like dial-up?
Yeah, so on dial-up.
Yeah.
Eventually got the coax internet, right, and that was a game changer. But yeah, just figuring out that stuff, and being a bit of a nerd going into junior high, I was picked on a bit, bullied quite a bit, and had to work through that, right? So
It's a hard time, like
Yeah.
that age.
yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I was the definition of a vulnerable youth, right? And that's, to this day, I'll talk more about it later, but Trellis is now what they used to be called Boys and Girls Clubs of Calgary, and really close to my heart. And yeah, definitely attribute a lot of going where I went to that, obviously to my dad giving me a computer. And then just, yes, my parents supporting me how they could, right? They were going through a lot, and yeah, it was just, looking back, it's like, yeah, everybody's just doing what they can with what they have, right?
Was there conversations being had as a youngster, like with your parents and you, about like what was happening, what they were like? Was there any life lessons they were trying to give you, or were they just trying to figure out their own stuff, giving you like the best foundation they possibly could, and letting you kind of do your thing, or what did it look like?
Yeah, I definitely got lots of kind of freedom and independence. But I did have, like, my parents were giving me life lessons. My dad was mentoring me. He actually got me like a summer job where he was working in the IT department.
Oh, no way.
And so they're, great parents under the circumstances. But it's, it's so interesting, these days. I don't know if it would have worked out like that, right? With all the social media and just the pressure on the youth and kids. And, but yeah, it's worked out, and I'm glad I had the supports I did, right? Both from my family and kind of trying to keep me on track while they were also busy, but
Yeah.
the outside help as well, right?
Where'd the club idea come from? Did your parents like seek out like an external group, or did you hear about it?
No, I think one of my friends was going and just said, "Hey, come to the club with me and we'll go play pool." And so it was just something fun to do. And then it just turned into a routine and something that had a bigger impact that I knew at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? And I have no experience with it, and I've actually never talked to somebody that's been involved in a club like that. What does it actually look like as a youngster when you're walking in there? Like, who's around? What are you doing? What kind of conversations are you getting in out of?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a hangout, right? After school, 3:00, 3:30, parents are still at work. So there's that gap. And it's like, yeah, come hang out after school on the weekends, play pool, play cards, play games. I think there's a basketball hoop right outside of it too. And so just come have fun with your friends, with people around, like adults around, that make sure that you're not getting into trouble there, right? And so positive things that kids should be doing, right? And just somebody to help with that. Obviously, my parents couldn't afford after school care, and a lot of the schools didn't have options, right? Even now they don't, right? So Boys and Girls Clubs was super awesome. And I'm not really sure if they supported my family at all, but I know they do that work in Calgary now. And so it's not just about the kid, it's about the family and making sure they're set up for success as much as possible.
So it's just like a positive environment. There's not necessarily like lessons or like things happening. It's just like a good space for kids to be. Yeah.
And I think there's lessons, but maybe not that I realized at the time. And, there's mentorship. There's, if you have any kids in your life, you see like, oh, they like that, let's encourage that. Right. So I'm sure they were doing that. Just unknowingly. Right. So pretty interesting. Just the impact that makes at the right time, right place.
I can't imagine the amount of kids that went through that program. Like without it, it's a wildly different scenario.
I would have gone into a bunch of trouble, and there's lots of people trying to take advantage of kids right at that age, and getting them into the wrong things, and
Yeah,
then you've got other problems.
for sure. That like line, getting into trouble, not getting into trouble, testing it just to see
Oh, yeah.
how far you can go.
Yeah. I got into my fair share of trouble, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's just it kept me on the right side of it.
And you just think, because it's a slippery slope, right?
Yeah.
Like you could have kept fighting against it and just kept on going down that path,
Yeah.
or figure it out and kind of go the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to say, like, I did most of my bar hopping before I was 18. Like, I was getting fake IDs into the bar with the wrong people. Right. And so I, maybe in my younger years, I didn't get into as much trouble, maybe. And then, from 15 to 17, definitely got into more. And then I decided to, be serious about school.
Yeah.
I kind of coasted through high school. I actually I told my parents, I'm like, I'm going to do high school online because I had such a bad experience in junior high. And so I did that. I went to, I think it was the first online school
What was
at
it?
Airdrie, Rocky View Virtual.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I did that and did the bare minimum to pass. I think I had a 60 in math 10. So I had to go back when I went to university and had to go back, upgrade my math. And just, did it the hard way. Right. And so high school wasn't a great experience for me. It was mostly gaming on computers, and I had almost a full-time job at the time because, I was working at the mall. I worked at A&W and Cinzio, and
You were working.
just really working. Right.
Yeah.
And I think I had, I kind of had to, because if I wanted something, I had to buy it myself. Right. And so I got a car when I was 16. So I think those things, kind of showed me that, okay, I've got some ambition. If I find the right thing, I'm willing to learn it and work. And, I look back and it's just like, once I latched onto computers and got into university, I actually started at Mount Royal College because I couldn't get into the U of C given my math.
Marks.
And
Dude, I'm with you, man. My marks were ridiculous.
yeah, like they were so bad. And so I got into the computer information systems program at Mount Royal.
What year was that?
That would have been like 2002 or 3, somewhere around there.
So I dropped out of Mount Royal 3 times.
Yeah.
The college.
Okay. Yeah.
But the second time I went was in the computer IS system program.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I dropped out of that. But that was like, I would say it might have been 98 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was such a great program. Like,
did it click for you?
Yeah.
The language, like all the things, you were just,
all the things.
It made sense.
Yeah. And it,
good for you, man.
And there was 2 teachers, I remember, first names. I don't remember their full name, but Randy and Mark were 2 of the teachers there, and just like loved what they taught and were so engaged. And like, I learned how to build websites and code in Java and like all this cool stuff. And, I think in my first year at Mount Royal, I got like a 3.9 GPA.
Oh, wow, you were like, clicked.
And I was just loving it. And it wasn't hard for me to stay focused on it. And so it's interesting. So after I had that first year experience, I went to the career counselor, and said, look, like, there's no degrees here. I kind of want to think a little bigger. And I remember my dad actually challenged me. He's like, you're doing pretty good. Like, a degree is going to get you further in life. And he kind of challenged me, and I kind of took that to heart. And then they said, well, you could go to the computer science transfer program. Most kids do it the other way. They start there and then realize it's hard and come back. But you've got a good foundation, and if you know it's going to be harder and you're willing to put the work in, then do that, right? And that was in 2006. I had that conversation. That would have been 2006. So maybe a little later than 2003. So had that conversation, and then I decided on it, and I said, okay, well, I got to go back and redo my math to get into the U of C. So I'd done a year of college and back into math 10. I got a 64, and I needed a 65 to get into calc. So I went back to the teacher and I said, look, like, is there anything maybe like, one little point that, maybe mismarked, right? And he's like, I found something that I probably was a bit harsh on. Got me the grade, got into calc. Yeah, interestingly enough, I had a girlfriend that I had met at virtual high school at the time, and she was a math wizard, and she got me through calc. So she helped me learn how to study math properly and put in the reps. I think I finished calc with like a C or C minus, so not a great grade, but I got it done. Got what I needed to the U of C. I got approved, got accepted to the U of C full time. And yeah, that was 2006. 2007, I was finishing up a couple courses at Mount Royal, getting ready for the September start at the U of C. August 15th was the day. I was in a pretty bad car accident. I was just minding my own business in my 1984 Volvo that my grandmother bought new. And got handed down to me.
Amazing.
And going north, my parents lived in Monterey Park in the Northeast at the time. Just finished a dentist appointment. I can remember it like it was yesterday.
It's easy for me to tell. You can
going 50, not speeding. There's a pretty big meridian in the middle, big grass. I heard this. I was on the phone with my dad. I was on my BlackBerry. Had I had the speakerphone on. Actually, I had it in my hand and had my seatbelt on and everything. Great. So I hear a screech and I look over and there's a BMW about 1.5 feet off the ground about to T-bone or hit me head on at about a 45-degree angle. And so I saw that coming and just like split seconds, right? I put my arms up because I didn't have airbags and I just braced for the impact. He hit me. My face became the airbag and I broke my jaw in the front and the back. So in two places, I broke my cheekbone. So I have a few plates on my face. And then the dashboard smashed into my knees. And so I shattered one of my right knee into like a dozen pieces. And then he hit me and then my car span like 5 to 8 times. I like kept going down the road like 100 meters. Interestingly enough, a police officer was doing photo radar and watched the whole thing happen.
Crazy.
And there was like a whole bunch of witnesses because they were doing construction there on the corner too. It took the firefighters about 45 minutes to cut me out of the car.
Crazy.
They had to cut the roof off. They had to cut the back of the seat off. I didn't lose consciousness the whole time. I was awake for the whole thing.
Jesus.
I remember getting into the ambulance, all that. And, I was on the phone with my dad. He heard the whole thing. He heard the police officer say, "Sir, you've been in a bad car accident. Just hang on." I told the cop, I said, "I need to call my dad." I gave him my dad's number and he called my dad and told him what happened. He said, he's okay. He's conscious, all this.
Surprisingly
awake. And I was about 2-3 blocks from home. So my dad called my mom. She ran over. I remember her freaking out. My stepmom, she was freaking out. I remember the look on her face. And then, in the ambulance to Foothills Emergency and, pretty traumatic experience.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I always people always ask me oh, if you could have that not happen, pay a bunch of money to just have that not happen to you. I wouldn't. I would have it happen every time, which is a pretty interesting perspective. Fast forward to the hospital.
What's crazy is that you're awake for everything.
Yeah.
That's the wild part about this.
Oh yeah, I should have lost consciousness.
Yeah, you should have been. The lack of airbags. I grew up in the same era with hard steering wheels and all the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
You should have been.
Oh, I bent that steering wheel.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I got photos of it.
Yeah, you got a thick head. So something
worked. But yeah, even the ER nurse didn't believe me. She said, "Okay, well, if you didn't lose consciousness, walk me through the whole thing." And I told her the exact story I just told, and she's like, "Okay, maybe you didn't." And she said, "That's a good thing because it means that you have less likelihood of brain damage."
Yeah.
Right? Because you're losing consciousness is your brain's way of protecting itself, right? And so that was great. Yeah, into surgery, all the fun stuff. Had a bunch of surgeries on my face, my knee, and then physio. The cool thing, the interesting thing. I'm a big believer everything happens for a reason. So I'm set up to go to the U of C. This is August 15th. School starts like early September. So I scaled back to 3 classes. I was like, I don't think I could do 5, but I still want to keep my full-time status. So I took 3, and I passed them all. That was great. But the more interesting thing is the U of C has like an amazing physical therapy team. Like, so I went to like where all the Dinos players go.
Yep.
Like I got physio at the U of C. So I go to school, go to my classes, and I go to physio, and I go home. And somebody would drive me to and from school every day because my right leg was not usable yet.
Crushed.
And so I had like world-class physio just right beside my school. And so I
Was it at the hockey rink? Or was it actually was it on campus?
Yeah, it's like between the rink and the school.
Yeah.
They've got like a whole building there.
The guy that, when I went there, was the Higgins. Tom Higgins? The guy, he was the Stamps physiotherapist.
He's like a big giant guy.
No, little guy. Very unassuming guy.
I didn't have him. I had a lady. I can't.
They were all-stars there.
They're all-stars.
The whole crew there, because I grew up playing hockey and had a lot of physio there. So as soon as I was like, I know exactly where you were.
For sure. Right. And they know like, okay, we got to focus on this first. And I had multiple injuries, right? My knee, obviously the most important, but I had my jaw wired shut for 10 weeks.
Crazy.
So I couldn't really chew very well for the first little bit. But yeah, it was kind of a blessing in disguise to be there for physio.
When you said everything happens for a reason, you believe that?
Oh yeah.
When did you start trusting that idea?
Interesting question. Yeah, let me keep going. I'll get there. It was a couple years later.
But when you're in this moment,
it's
not all like rainbows and unicorns.
Oh no,
you're like,
life sucks.
Yeah, you're like in it.
Yeah, like physio sucks. Physio's painful. School is a lot harder.
Yeah.
The interesting thing too is that first semester I took a course called discrete mathematics.
Sounds ridiculous.
Sounds hard, right? And it was. The interesting thing is my teacher was this old Asian guy, T. Din, I think is his name. Just like no BS, right? He's tenured. He doesn't give a crap, right? So I took his course. And I'd be the guy in the course, like asking the stupidest questions. If you knew anything about math, you're like, this guy doesn't know how to do math, right? And so I'd ask them because I'm like, if I'm going to pass this, I got to be unafraid to just, if I don't understand it, I got to ask, right? And so I did. And then I also, the privilege of being, kind of immobile was that I had lots of time. Right. So I went to his like tutor hour. He also hosted like a Saturday session. So I went to that. Went to every one of them. I got a freaking A+ in his class.
No way.
Yeah. And so I probably wouldn't have done that if I was mobile. I would have been distracted. I would have been taking 5 courses. And I think what that did for me is it actually gave me some confidence. Like, okay, this was a really hard class that, people that are good at math didn't do as well as I did.
Yep.
And that really set me up for success at the U of C. Yeah. And, his hard ass, like one time he asked me, he's like, do you think before you ask questions? Literally, that's how dumb the question was. He asked me that in front of everybody. A little embarrassing, but I got over it.
Yeah.
But that just encouraged me, right, in some weird way. So fast forward, U of C, I'm, back on my feet, taking classes. I hear about this. Oh, you could do a semester abroad. And I'm like, life is short. This is like my mindset now after this accident. And I'm like, F it, I'm going to do it. I didn't even apply yet. I'm just like, I'm going to do that. And so I did it. I went to Australia. I went to Perth.
Were you working all the way through university? Do you have money to do the exchange thing?
Yeah. So I was working at a company called CCS Income Trust. Now it was Tervita, and then just got acquired by Secure. So I was working at that company in my free time and, kind of part-time when I was doing full-time school for sure. Full-time in the summer, so saving up money.
Yep.
I had a bit of savings and I had a tax return one year and I went to my dad, I'm like, what do I do with this extra $2,000, right? Small. He's like, put it in CCS stock. I did it. It tripled. So that was great. If anybody knows Dave Workland, he's well known Calgarian. He's the Workland Art Center.
Yeah.
He's a building at the U of C now.
Yeah.
So I was in the IT department at CCS, his company, and I'll dig down to this rabbit hole. Interestingly enough, like I did a few summers there and did full time between, and my dad was in the IT department as well, and so that's how I got my foot in the door.
Yep.
But they had a really good leadership program where they would send people on. It was called rapport leadership training. Down in the U.S., they'd send people there and pay for it all. And because I was a student, I normally wouldn't get it, but I asked. I put the request into my boss. It got declined. But then little did I know, and you kind of like get this resourcefulness. And I think I get all of this, figure it out, scrappy attitude from like growing up in the hood, right? A little bit.
Dude, you said it.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in Calgary
Yeah.
and grew up playing sports. And so every time we cross the river,
Yeah.
different experience.
Yeah.
People are the grit over the, on the ice. That's my only point of reference. The grit on the ice was way different.
Way different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's another, everything happens for a reason. Grew up in the hood. I got that skill set in me. So I was the only kind of IT guy on the help desk that could help Dave Workland, the CEO of this like $2 billion company at the time. I don't know how I earned that right, but if he had a problem, his EA would call the IT desk and say, send Shawn up. And so I mentioned this to her. I was like, hey, I applied for the rapport thing. I get that I'm a student, but if there's any free spots, let me know. 2 days later, my boss is like, you got approved for the thing.
Why do you think you had that relationship? What do you think? Why do you think? How did you build that? Was it?
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think this is a skill I try to like teach everybody in my companies now, because we do IT support for other businesses.
Yep.
Is you got to just care. You got to solve the problem like it's your own problem. You got to just explain like, hey, this is what you got to do so that doesn't happen, or, not be super technical.
Yeah.
And then if you see something like, I would be the guy that'd be like, oh, your cables are a mess. Like, I know that's not why you called me up, but can I have 5 more minutes? I'm going to fix that. Right. Just go beyond, right?
Yep.
Take that next step. I remember one of the cool things. He's like, my Bluetooth in my new car is not working. He's like, here's the keys, go fix it. Here's my phone. Here's the keys. And he's like, it's underground. I'm like, your new Bentley? And I'm like, so I go down, I couldn't get it to work because there's no reception. So I go back up. I'm like, look, there's no reception. I can't make sure the Bluetooth's working. He's like, just drive it outside. I'm like, no. I'm like, is there somebody else that can do that? Like, I don't want to do that. A couple $100,000 car. He's like, don't worry about it. Just drive it out. Be careful, but drive it out. So I did, and it was safe. It didn't get scratched. So building those relationships, interestingly enough, so, everything happens for a reason. I'm at Secure. I go to Australia, and I have an amazing time there in school, meet a lot of cool people. And then I go to come back, and I'm like, well, I don't have a job lined up. So I'm like a month out. And, I asked CCS, and it was recession times. So they're like, we're not hiring right now, even summer students. So I'm like, okay, cool. A couple of the people from CCS had gone to another startup competitor, Secure Energy, and they said, hey, well, we need an IT guy. There were about 100 people at the time, and I was IT guy number 2.
Early.
Yeah, really early. So I took that job, but before I even got that offer, I was out for a run in Australia, and sidebar, 2 years after my accident, I ran the Rome Marathon I was never a runner before, but I'm like, this part of my rehab, I'm going to prove to myself, if I can run the Rome Marathon, I did as much physio as I could. And I told the lawyers that when they brought up my Instagram feed about it. I'm like, yeah, I ran a 5-hour 13-minute marathon at 23 years old. That's nothing to write home about.
Survival.
Yeah. It took me a long time to finish it, but I didn't get disqualified, so that's nice. Anyways, not one of my strong suits. So in Australia, out for a run, I had this idea. I'm like, why don't I just do like, there's like the student painters thing. I'm like, I'm just going to do Student Geeks, start a little company and help out businesses and do their IT for them.
On a run, you're figuring this out?
On a run, I had this idea. I'm like, perfect. I think within 2-3 days, I had a little basic website mocked up, and I had somebody make me a logo.
What was the URL?
It was studentgeeks.ca.
Amazing.
Yeah. I had my friend do a logo. It turned out to be like a Rubik's Cube, kind of nerdy and academic. We graduated from that and called the company TWT Group. And there's a story there I'll dig into. So Secure Energy, I'm there for about 4.5 years. And we go from 100 people, 120 maybe, and I'm the second IT guy, to 1,600 people and about 50 people in the IT team. And at 50 people, I'm like a tier 2 IT person. And I'm like, what? Like, how'd I get 48 people hired ahead of me? Maybe not quite all of them, but a lot of them. And I kept putting my hand up like, oh, project manager role. Great. Even IT manager role. I'm like, I built this infrastructure. I know it inside and out. I'm like, maybe I don't have the gray hair in the beard yet, but give me a chance. Didn't really get the chance. So I was kind of at this point, I was like frustrated. I wanted to keep growing. I was making $55K a year. I went to my boss's boss, the CFO, and said, look, here's my 2 weeks. Like I've applied for these things, haven't gotten considered. I don't see a path. Nobody's like helping me figure out that. I'm obviously eager, right? He's like, I will not accept your resignation. What do you want? And I said, I want another 20 grand and I want another 2 weeks of vacation. He said, done. I'm like, shit.
I went low.
Yeah, I went too low. But
did you have a plan on the way out? Like when you give your 2 weeks, did you have a backup?
So I had Student Geeks running.
It was like off the side of your desk.
I had a couple clients that didn't keep me too busy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can pay my rent with that. Great. And then he said no. And then I said, okay, fine. And so then as things happen, right, still in the same role, not growing my skill set, just doing the same old stuff I already know. And then they hire an IT manager. That IT manager doesn't work out. They hire another one. That one doesn't work out. I'm like, hey, like
still here.
Give me a chance. No, they hire another one. He worked out. And I get it. I would have been in over my head at, almost 1,600 person, couple $1 billion company now.
Yeah.
Didn't have the skill set yet. So, but through all that growth and that massive growth, I learned so many skills that I put in today.
Yeah.
So what finally ended up happening, so one day I remember just being really frustrated about something, and I had a coworker in my office, and Student Geeks was making me about the same amount of money on the side, about to say 75K, and I was making 75K in salary. Really hard decision to cut that in half, to quit and cut that in half. And I struggle with that a bit. But one day I was talking to a colleague, I'm like, look, I could work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and make the same amount of money as I do here, because I was doing it in less than that, actually. And that turned into the company name, TWT Group. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We came up with a marketing meaning for it. We said, okay, we're going to say it means technology, wisdom, and trust, which actually was great values and great, kind of stood for what we did. But shortly after that kind of frustration point, I waited. The CFO was going on vacation, and the day after he left, I put my resignation in, and I said, I'm done. I'm off.
So it's a very interesting story. What do you think that gear is for somebody that's at a place for X amount of time?
Yeah.
They have their own internal drive, their kind of goals, aspirations. When they're not shown those opportunities to keep climbing the ladder, they get frustrated.
Yeah.
And there's two moves. One is to stay there and just head down and just, take the loss and just keep doing the thing.
Yeah.
Make your steady paycheck. It's reliable. And then the next move is to do what you did. What is that? Everybody doesn't have that gear, right? There's a lot of people that would stay in that position, complain about it, take it home, complain about it, take it home on the weekend, complain about it.
Yeah.
Or the exit. What do you think that is?
Yeah, I think some of my like growing up in the hood scrappiness.
Yeah.
I think, and then my accident. Life is short, and so every time I was like, "Oh, I want to do that," I'd do it. After that point, specifically, and so I think as a young person, you run into these ways, whether they're good, bad, or ugly ways of learning your self confidence, and then you can build on that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I did, and I had Student Geeks running, and so that, like, literally, I had the easiest setup. I had no kids.
Yeah.
I had a little condo that was pretty cheap. I had no baggage, no responsibilities. I had a business running that I maybe would on lunch go and do something once or 3 times a week, pretty easy. Like, it didn't actually take away from my job.
Yep.
Like, I still got my full-time job done. And so having that setup and, you know, being intentional about it, right? And
Yeah.
putting a plan in place, you know, a little side hustle is not bad for anybody, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're delivering what you need to deliver.
Yeah.
But I also think that part of me, I felt, looking back, I feel like I was really clear. I was like, why not me?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I didn't get a good answer. If they would have just said, look, like, you don't have experience at this, and this is where we're going and we need it, I would have said, okay, cool. Well, how can I be under that person? How can I be their number 2?
Yeah.
They can mentor me. Never had that, never got that conversation. And so, you know, I think, and again, the best thing that could ever happen to me, right? The, around the same time, funny enough, I got, I graduated university, and then I actually had an interview at Microsoft. They flew me out to Redmond and Seattle.
Cool.
I didn't get the job. And I'm so happy that I didn't get that job. Right? Because it'd be like, that would have been a tough decision.
Yeah.
You know, I just started dating my she's now my partner. We've been together 14 years. At that time, we just started dating, and yeah, I'm glad it didn't work out. So I think just like getting intentional, building that confidence up is super important. And then just having that attitude of life is short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and the reason I'm kind of on you right now is because there's been a number of DMs that I get, either, and they connect with guests on the show. They're like, yeah, that story like really resonates with me because I'm trying to figure out, should I stay here or do I start my own thing?
Yeah.
It's just been this like trend, and I've been being a little more cognizant of what people are asking, what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that decision of like, it's not a straightforward like blueprint. If you have these 4 things, jump.
No.
There's so much like behind the scenes. It's how you grew up and where you grew up. It's, you know, have you kind of proved out this concept yet? You already had the thing stood up. It was already there. So that jump doesn't look so severe
for sure
from the outside.
Yeah.
And that's why it's an interesting.
I had that like self-sufficiency. I knew if I quit my job, I could still pay my bills.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like now, and I've had to do work on this, like because of my upbringing, I had to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And now I find sometimes it does me dirty a little bit, right? If I'm too like independent now, I can't get as much done, right? Because the things, building a company, I had to learn to delegate. I had to learn to trust other people.
Yeah.
And those didn't come naturally. I think, if you're in a business and you're not, like in my new business, everybody on our team's an owner, right? And I think that's important.
Interesting.
Because they don't need a side hustle now.
Yeah.
One guy does woodworking, and that's super awesome. But he doesn't need a side hustle to have success later.
Yeah.
I think if you don't have that, and if you can manage a side hustle and still deliver everything your employer wants, then why not? I think it worked out for me, and I was probably really lucky with that business. And I think part of it was like I really loved what I was doing. I was passionate about it. Technology is obviously a need. But a lot of people, like, it's not easy to start a business. And so I would strongly advise against just quitting cold turkey with nothing started.
Yep.
Like, don't do it. You will fail. Right? And the flip side of that too is you won't just fail because the idea is not good. Like, you'll fail because people will know that you're desperate.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to sell, people can read if you're desperate, and they don't buy from desperate people, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're in a business that's paying the bills and you're like, oh, we got to hit that number. And the desperation comes across, you're not going to hit that number.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's all human motivation, human psychology. It's like dating.
Yeah.
Like selling anything is like dating, right? You got to be like, well, you probably don't need it, but all the great people have it, right? So you got to have that confidence. And I think that's the one thing I've learned as a business owner, and I've learned it from a gentleman named Dan Sullivan. He has this quote that really resonates with me: is the number one job of a founder of a company or CEO is to protect their confidence, right? And there's many ways you have to do that. It's personally, it's different parts of the business. You have to be confident in them. Because as soon as you don't have confidence, there's so many downsides, right?
Yeah.
You can't make decisions. You're not executing quickly, right? It hampers you. And in life too, right? So, and the only way to build confidence is to take action, right? I'll tell you a personal story. So when I started dating Merlene in 2011, she joked, we were just hanging out on the couch watching something. She's like, oh, we should go to Hawaii one day. And she quickly learned that mentioning things like that is a bad idea, because we were on Expedia in like 3 minutes and we were booked in about 20. And then we went to Maui in September of 2011. And so she's now very careful what she brings up of what we should do. Because it's like, oh yeah, we're going to do that.
It's happening.
Yeah. And I think in today's world, even more than 2011, like you got to be like that.
Yeah.
You got to, like, if you're like, I want something, quit pretending you got to figure it out or have a plan. Just go and do the first thing you think you should do.
Yeah.
Right. Get at it.
Do you think you snuck in another word earlier just about passion? You started your business because it was like right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you decided to start a fly fishing shop.
No.
That's another kind of interesting conversation around people when they're trying to figure out what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really tricky spot to be in.
Yeah.
When it's tough, you're like, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know how to tie that to an idea, and then it's like this death circle.
Yeah.
But then as you just ended the last story of like, you got to make a move. That's an interesting piece of the equation too.
Yep.
And it's almost like just make a move. People get paralyzed by just like not doing anything.
Yeah. And then iterate. I mean, my business now, we do IT for other businesses, but we do it exactly opposite of what I did when I started.
Right.
Right. And it's going to change. It's going to evolve. You're not going to get it perfectly right. And it's not going to ever be static. That's business, right? Business is not static.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is the question I always ask myself is like, if I wasn't getting paid for something, like what would I do? Like if everything was just, my bills are paid for, what would I go and do? And then figure out a way to make that a part of what you offer the world, right?
So that's a tricky one too. I like catch myself thinking about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Passion and what would I do? And I even struggle, and I'm like, I don't have much figured out.
Yeah.
But that's a hard question to figure out.
It is.
It's almost like you almost need a little bit of like dumb blind luck and a door to open, and all of a sudden the lights come on.
Yeah.
And like, that's it. It's almost, and for me, it's like, you almost have to put yourselves in situations to experience something. And that's the unlock. That's kind of like.
Yeah. And everything, happens at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. You just gotta experiment.
Yeah.
Like I look at like everything in life is an experiment. Like business is an experiment. Whatever you do, your spouse, your dog, like everything's just figuring out like what works.
For sure.
The funny thing too is like if things don't work and it's friction and it's like too hard, like I've learned to listen to that more in my years, because every time I don't, it like backfires. It's like if you try to force something or try to make a relationship or make a client work, it's just like it never ends well.
Yeah.
But the ones that are easy, it's just like just build on that, right? Find ways to find more of that, and let friction guide you and run away from it.
Yeah.
I think that's people try to, I don't know, I won't generalize, but I think just in our minds, we feel that things should be hard. Therefore, we follow the hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And if we can reframe that and just say, okay, this is hard, and the other, like, this client's hard and this client's not, like, they both signed up with me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to follow that one, and I'm going to do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great business practices to fire clients.
Yep. Totally.
You know, then you get to enjoy what you're doing, and then your people get to enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you jump ship, fire every business.
Yeah.
Did you have the concept was proved out.
Yeah.
What was the next kind of evolution of it? Was there a spot you're like, this thing's getting too big, how do I scale it?
Yeah.
I'm working way too much. Like, where's the thing that caught you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, interesting time, right? I left in 2012 and started full time, and then I did a rebrand to TWT and said we've graduated from Student Geeks now.
Was that it? Was that just like you?
Yeah.
You as a human experience, everything kind of leveled up. So
yeah, we just rebranded it. We said, oh, we're graduating from being a student now, cool. Right? Yeah. Did the rebrand with a Fiverr logo or something at the time, and honestly, the connections I made through being at Secure Energy and CCS were like invaluable. Those people, a bunch of them went to start their own company, or even some of the vendors that we worked with were like, oh, hey, like you started your own business, we could use your help. And a lot of people, like, I know there was at least 2 people that hired me and probably didn't have to.
Yeah.
Probably like were fine paying me more than they could have someone else just to help. And even like one person was like, look, like, we pay all of our little vendors like the same week. You invoice me, I pay you in 5 days. And he's like, our bigger vendors, they wait 60. And I'm like, oh, like that's a neat, interesting thing. And it just showed that person's values of like, they want to support the little guy.
Yeah.
And I've taken that forward. So you learn from other people. I joined EO in 2014. EO, you got to be $1 million in US revenue a year to join. And so, like I said, at 2011, I was at 75K a year.
Yeah.
2012 branched off full time. And we got to over $1 million US in revenue by 2014. So a couple of years, like things just were snowballing.
Like quickly.
I remember being at like 270K in revenue and talking to my accountant, like, when do I hire? And he's like, well,
are you still working only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, no, I was working full time. I was not, the dream is gone. Yeah, that never stuck. But so he's like, well, if you can't do all the work and you think you're going to get more customers, then you should probably look to hire. And so then I made my first hire and just kept going. Yeah, we did great work and our clients referred us. And it was, 2012 Calgary downturn, right?
Yeah.
So people were looking for efficiencies, and so outsourcing IT was a thing.
Yep.
Being the little guy, like people wanted to help us.
Yep.
Things just clicked. And then joining EO was like, and I'm still in. I'm currently the president volunteer role. It's my second year as president.
No way.
And that's been invaluable. And so just like, the cliche saying your network is your net worth is like 1,000% true. And the thing, like being in tech, you'd think like, oh, you just sell widgets and, software and, tell me to reboot my computer every time I call you. I think the magic in my business is actually the human connection part of it. Really, if I can understand my client's business and how they work, I can say, oh, well, why don't you try this little thing? It's going to save you 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. Even this year, one of our clients was like, I got your invoice from your person and it looks like they manually wrote that email and attached a PDF. I'm like, is that true? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you how to eliminate all of that work. For like, I think the subscription on the app to do it is like $100 a month.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Exactly. Right. And so again, back to that connection, really understanding. And so over time, we've just built partnerships with our clients. Like our clients are more friends than they are customers.
Yeah. And you've like firmly, is that a goal or is that an outcome? Is that just,
I mean, I don't know, but I don't want to work with people that aren't my friends.
yeah.
And, you know, I think that the other thing too is if I can get to know their business well enough and care about it, you know, as much as I can, then they're going to get the most value from me.
Yeah.
And then everybody wins.
Yeah.
Right. And they refer me to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I try to refer people to my customers
Yeah.
as well if I know they need their service.
It's a basic concept.
Yeah. It's super simple,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just have to be intentional. You have to be thinking about other people.
Yeah.
Right. What goes around comes around.
When you say that, so when you have the opportunity, like some people focus on the short term objective, whether it's a goal financially or they need to do something, or
Yeah.
but when you have that kind of intention, it's a different thing, right? Sometimes I'm guessing if you know client A needs something and you're like, okay, I'll just like do this. I'll do them a solid.
Oh, yeah.
To build this into this 5, 6, 10-year relationship and just
All the time.
yeah.
There's, you know, we put like IT roadmaps for our clients together and we say, hey, here's the red things you need to solve right away. Their risks. Here's like, you know, in a year and a half, you got to replace these things.
Yep.
But sometimes it's just like, you really need this thing. And I know COVID just happened. Or I know your industry is getting hit with tariffs or whatever the thing is that's preventing them. We've gone to clients and said, look, we're going to put it in and then we'll start billing you in 6 months if that's okay. Like it doesn't cost us anything really.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you'll do that? Of course. So we care about your business. We know this is important. Mm-hmm. We know you can't wait because stuff is going to blow up.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, that buys lifetime relationships. Mm-hmm. And I know they do the same for me. Right. Yeah. So my company got acquired in 2020.
Okay.
So we were about almost 9 years old. We were 25 people. We got acquired by a national company that we had this vision together to kind of go public and grow it. And it created a ton of opportunity for my team members.
Did they come find you?
So we were friends. They were out of Vancouver and we kind of shared ideas.
Yep.
And then they came to me in April 19 and said, hey, would you be open to having a chat about being acquired?
Was that ever on your
No
roadmap for a business?
No.
Okay.
No. And I was like, okay, maybe let's have a chat. He's like, well, I'll fly out and have dinner with you. I'm like, okay, sure. I'll have dinner with you. No problem. And then so that vision was really exciting and I knew the opportunities it would create for my team. And so we did the deal. In January 2020, we closed the deal.
Wow.
And then COVID hit. And IT services was positively impacted overall by COVID.
Yeah, the remote thing, like a bunch of tech got implemented.
Yeah, security, like projects, but it was a lot of chaos too. Mm-hmm. Great to have an HR department through that, which I didn't before. And so everything happens for a reason. I stayed on for almost 3 years.
Yep.
2 years after I was acquired, TELUS acquired the big company.
Crazy.
They didn't really.
It's different.
Yeah, they didn't do much for about 11 months. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, I see it coming. I'm going to get out of here. And probably in that third year is when we started to integrate things and things started to not work. And people were like, oh, how do we fix this? And I was giving my advice and saying, well, focus on the customer, not what you need. And they didn't take it. And they kept asking me how to fix it. And I said, well, listen to my last email, sort of thing. And I was just like, I saw myself, I'm like, yeah, this is not going in a productive place. So I left and, still friends with all the like original people that acquired us and all good. And they're great people. And then my clients, I took like 12 months off. My clients were like, hey, things suck over here. And who do you recommend? And I said, well, can you wait till my non-compete's up? Which was like 4 or 5 months away when they were asking me at this time. And a lot of them, majority of them said, yeah, if you're going to start, we will wait.
Wow.
and we'll suffer it out. And so we started that business in January 24. We're 13 people on our team.
What's it called?
Always Beyond.
Yep.
Yeah. 13 people on the team. We are, revenue-wise, we're about 70% of the way where we were before in 2 years.
Wow.
So it's been a fast growth. We've definitely had to hire early and quick.
Yeah.
But obviously the relationships we had, like, single-handedly built that business.
Yeah.
It's interesting, some of the people from my old company, we were in talks to, like, a couple of us get together and be partners.
Yeah.
And some people went another way and some people didn't. And it was funny. It came down to, like, they wanted like 4% more equity. And I'm kind of like, well, like, I don't know if you understand what I bring to the table, but it's the relationships.
It's the start of everything.
It's the start of everything, right? And they had a couple. And so I think they knew they had some clients locked down.
Yeah.
But we probably got 80% of it because those people knew when I did the thing.
Yeah.
They knew that I knew how to run a business, right? And I had their trust, and we haven't spoiled it, right? Some clients we even went to and said, hey, like, if you pay for a year and we give you a discount just so we can get some capital to start.
Yep.
We had a half a dozen say, yeah, no problem.
Cool.
We had several $100,000 in the bank.
It's creative, hey?
Right? They got a bit of a discount and everybody wins, right? So kind of self-funded it. The clients built it and then the team built it. One of my partners is our COO, and so he runs all the day-to-day. And yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
The relationship piece, is it a natural move for you? Has it always been like, have you connected with people always? Like, what's your superpower? Is it like listening? Is it, what's the move to actually, people say relationships matter.
Yeah.
What's your superpower with it?
Yeah. Interesting. I'm a pretty quiet person.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I don't get overly excited really easily. I'm pretty level.
Yeah.
And I think back to the hood, like, you kind of growing up in those places, you learn to pay attention to the, like, little things.
Yeah.
The body language.
You can read a room.
You can read a room. I can tell if something's off. Like, I think that's my superpower. And I think that helps me build relationships. Because if somebody's feeling off, I know it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like second nature. And I deal with it. That paired with my cracks, and it's like, well, why would we fester on this? Life is short. Let's deal with this. And so maybe those two things combined just make me a really natural relationship builder.
Yeah. It's different though, right? Some people think about relationship builders like BD guys, like traditional BD guys.
Yeah.
That present themselves in a certain manner, whether it's like, the ball of fire in the corner of the room that's just like attracted, like getting people in their sphere. Your way is very interesting though.
Yeah.
To actually like get a read on people is the secret, I think, to actually.
Yeah. And I think just that, like, calm steadiness, like, I don't know, maybe it was that math teacher who told me to think before I ask questions, but I also have really leaned into my leadership style is, like, very inclusive. I totally accept that I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I think I built my business in 9 years to where we got it by asking people questions.
Yeah.
Like, how do I do this? And really just understanding how to run a business. Like, a lot of people, they're like, oh, I've got a bookkeeper. My books are good. I'm like, do you understand them? Do you know what your profit's going to be next month? It's so funny. Like, and I know that that's unique for me. I'm very detailed. I know the details. But also I include other people and, like, hey, here's a problem. I think, maybe I even have ideas on how to solve it, but want to involve people because then they own it. They own the outcome, and I'm just there to support them. Yeah, it's funny. My bookkeepers, they're like, do you have your CPA? I'm like, no. I'm like, I know how to run a business and I know financials matter. I had a business coach actually. So I went off on my own, started the company, and I went on LinkedIn and I searched business coach, and a guy named Vince Fowler came up. You might have heard of him.
We've connected.
He's a rock star. And so
It's funny. You're the second person in the last 2 weeks that's brought up his name.
yeah, meant to be. So I reached out to him on LinkedIn and said, hey, could we grab lunch? I'd like to hear about this business coaching thing. And I said, okay, well, I can't afford to pay you right now, but I can afford to buy you lunch. Can we get lunch once a month? And one of the things he like got me to focus on was the numbers. It's like, know your numbers, know your expenses as a percent of revenue. Make sure your cash flow is accurate and you're doing accrual accounting and you're depreciating assets like laptops, right? Make sure you're doing all those things because it'll help you make better decisions. He has a military background.
Yeah.
So I've learned like mass amounts of wisdom through him. And yeah, there's been so many times where he's like asked me a question and I'm like, yeah, I'm being stupid, or, oh, I was thinking emotionally and not, not how I should be. So I got lots of free coaching, and then I eventually hired him and I've paid him since. So it's pretty amazing. Like just the right person to get you focused on the right thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I just see so many, under $1 million businesses they're like, I got a bookkeeper, and they're wondering why they're not making money or not growing.
Yeah.
They're wondering why the number on the P&L doesn't match the bank. And then, I teach them like, hey, match your revenue with your expenses, make sure you're accruing stuff, right? I had one person I mentored through EO, our Grow program. They have like an apparel business, and I'd be like, why did you lose $60,000 last month and you made 20 this month? And he's like, oh, we placed an inventory order. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, that's not how you do your books. He's like, well, my accountant said I'm like, we need to find you a new accountant. But the thing is with a business is it forces you to take accountability for everything. If your finances aren't working, that's on you. If your marketing's not working, sure, you have a expensive agency, but it's still on you.
Yeah.
Right. If there's not enough money for payroll, that's on you.
Yeah.
If your clients are unhappy, that's on you. And so it forces you to like really, again, back to that like independence I had to have. Yeah. I think it's just naturally pushed me towards being fine with taking accountability for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting though, like how informative those young years actually are?
Yeah.
Positive and negative. Yeah. Whatever the experiences are, it's so fascinating that those are kind of like deeply rooted in us.
Yeah.
And then when you need those skills, sometimes you never figure it out because you don't get put in those situations. Yeah. You don't start your own business, whatever but when all of a sudden when you need them, you're like, oh, I can make these decisions. You're like, yeah, how do I do this? You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting too. Through my EO experiences, we've had some facilitators that have helped me figure that out, and even just pinpoint the times in my life where it's like, oh, that thing that I do was created at that point in time. Like literally, there's a few big things that I know about myself. And it's interesting because all of the like positives that those have, there's also negatives in different situations. For sure. Right.
Okay. When you talked about the self-reliance piece.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. You can't build a 25-person team and lean into that real hard.
Do it all.
No. And you can't take them the answer every time.
Yeah.
You're not going to build a business that runs without you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That unlock to like get there, to actually understand it. I'm not even close to your scale of business by any fucking stretch, but that unlock is like, it allows you to make moves kind of freely, kind of like trusting it. And I feel like it gives me more like
more confidence.
Yeah. And I can trust my gut.
Yeah.
Like I don't there's not a bunch of like checks and balances. If I feel it, if I can see it, I can definitely go there.
Yeah.
And that's my like, it's because of all these other experiences behind it.
Yeah, it's just like trusting your gut is totally underrated.
Yep.
I think once you have the confidence and you know yourself well enough, and then you can, like, honestly, like I will be driving in my car and I'll put the GPS in and my gut will be like, oh no, turn left here instead of right. And like I've not listened to my gut and had bad things happen. And so now I just listen to my gut.
Just like
You gotta go with it. There's this book I read earlier this year, actually. It's called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And it's not about like getting more money or anything. It's just the universe conspires to help you along your journey, especially if it's aligned with helping other people, right? Like everything we are and everything that's out there is energy, right? And I'm not like a hokey. I don't have stones in my house yet, but I get it, right? Like you look at all the quantum physics now that's being discovered, and like, you know, you put an idea out there in the world, and it happens,
yeah.
right? And so learning to like tune into that as a leader who's like very analytical, like myself, yeah, definitely, it's interesting. Takes when you first start, like takes you out of your comfort zone. You're like, this is kind of weird. You get all these like, you know, crazy perceptions of yourself, but then you're like, oh, like no, that like feels good. It works. Yeah.
And that's why when I asked earlier, like we'll get to it. And here we are. This is fascinating for me because I'm getting this conversation is happening more and more with highly successful humans.
Yeah.
And from like psychologists that are very scientific to then figure out this energy, however woo-woo energy universe, everyone's got different words for it. And I'm like all in on it.
Yeah.
And I like really trust it. What do you think what was the thing that kind of got you on this path?
Yeah. You know, like,
It's fascinating, right? Like,
yeah, it's like,
IT is zeros, ones.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
It's laser focused.
Yeah.
This is way different.
Yeah. And it's so funny because it's coming from a bunch of different places, right? The quantum scientists are, you know, there's that. And then there's like, through my business journey, just steering away from friction has gotten me to good places. And the more I do that, the more good things happen. You know, I'll go back to Trellis for a second. So Trellis in 2016, Calgary wasn't in a great spot, you know, big oil downturn. We had grown 45% that year. And I was like, I want to throw a stampede party and I want to raise money for Boys and Girls Clubs at the time. So we did it. We raised $5,000 that first year. And that party has stayed going. So
that's why I've heard. That's why that name is like. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's called the Ace High Stampede Kickoff now. The second year we raised 15. Third year I think it was 30. This last stampede we raised $104,000 in a day. So we've raised over $350K for Boys and Girls and Trellis. The amount of like positive benefit for me and my companies is like 10x that. And so like now I'm kind of like, how do I get more? Because every time I get more back. And it's like, so back to that happy pocket full of money, it actually talks about like why that's the case. And energy is a big part of it. And the universe is like, oh, like these people's intentions are aligned with what they do and their goals are big and they can impact the world and the energy just flows to you, right? It's such a interesting thing.
Dude, I love it. This is like, this is like this is why this scenario, like this show, to have these conversations is like, it's spectacular for me because
it's awesome.
I don't have enough experience behind me to like articulate it and like trust it and know it. I feel it. You know, I've been getting better at saying it out loud and I like really trust it.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you have, you know, dudes like you that show up, been playing at a high level, doing a thing, you know, whatever the thing is, whatever level it is. But when you say it, it's like positive reinforcement, right? It's like, oh, I'm not weird.
No.
There's a bunch of people out there doing this and that's what's leading to a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think as humans, we need to realize that we don't know it all,
Yeah.
and that's like on a cosmic level. And then if you just like if you believe that and you distill it down to everything you do, then everything you're doing in your business, at home, it all becomes easier.
Yeah.
Because you could be like, yeah, I don't know it all. Like, whether you want to call it curiosity or just like, hey, it's all a collaboration. It's all a big experiment.
Do you find that when you start building relationships with people, do you find they have similar beliefs? Do you start to uncover these like stories of like you start saying your thing and they're like,
Yeah,
it's exactly like, does it start putting you in the sphere of like-minded people?
I think so. Yeah, I think just like energy attracts, right? Everybody is doing a good job trying to help others. Like, I'm a fan of making friends with competitors. Like,
Yeah.
I have like
That's a
all
twist.
all the good MSPs in Calgary I'm friends with. It's funny. I was at a conference in June, and one of them was there, and I was like, "Hey, I didn't know we were up against each other in a deal, but you won it. Good job." He's like, "Oh, thanks, man." And I told him, I said, "Look, I asked the person who was doing the quote, and I said, 'Oh, who did you go with?' And he said, 'You.' And I replied, and I said, 'Oh, they'll do a good job for you.' And I'm kind of a like I didn't like if I'm him, I'm like because you can read people, you'd be like, 'Oh, you're just BSing me.' I'm like, 'No, here's the email.' I showed it to him. He's like, 'Oh, thanks, man.' Like I'm gonna prove to you that I'm like a good person,
Yeah.
and I'm not just trying to eat your lunch because I want to like build that relationship.
Yeah.
Because then we both win, and our clients all win, right?
Are you in a spot right now? Like, how do you frame up where you are right now? Are you in like in the Matrix? Like it's all like you can see everything right now? Or are you like,
Yeah, I don't know. I just see potential. I think there's like a ton of opportunities. I'm just looking for ways to have fun.
yeah,
Yeah, and most of them involve impact and giving back. I started a coaching business for other IT business owners because I just got sick of so many of them being run like just because people don't know basics and simple things.
yeah,
So I've started that, and I coach people in Calgary. I'm like, I'll give you all my secrets. I don't care, because it's all in the execution, and I hope you execute well, right? It'll just make our entire industry better. So there's that. There's just making connections in Calgary. I think one thing about me, and because I went through divorce and went through the rough kind of vulnerable youth years, like I really crave that connection.
yeah,
Like I'm sort of an introvert that really likes to connect with people, which is interesting.
very.
But I do crave that, and it's I don't want to have elevator talk about, let's talk about the weather and talk about the things like this, right? And so I'm trying to find ways to find the intersection of having fun, making impact, and creating connections. If you want to call that my like red thread, that would be it. Because I think if I can do that in anything, then everybody benefits, and including myself, and I'm having fun and just get to wake up every day and really go out and do what I want to do.
Which is a cool space to operate from.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, back to that question, like if you didn't have to work and have to get a paycheck, what would you go and do? And I'm in a pretty nice spot that's sort of the case. Yeah. And I can just do what I want to do. And it's funny, like there's all these things like, the first million's the hardest, right?
Yeah.
And it's just because then you get in a different perspective. You have a different perspective, and then you start to do it for the right reasons. It's not just about the million, right? It's like, no, the why underneath becomes the thing, not the money.
Yeah.
Right.
You hear that, like, if I said a lot of people say that, that's probably the overstatement.
Yeah,
but you hear that, like that kind of thought process.
Yeah.
But as you're coming up, getting by, doing okay, good years, bad years, and you're kind of like, you just keep like bubbling up to that thing. It's tough to trust that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you hear it, you're supposed to trust it, you're supposed to believe it.
Yeah.
but it's a tough thing to trust when you're actually like not quite there.
Yeah. It's it's kind of the fake it before you make it thing, right? Like how do you act as if you've made it if you haven't made it?
Yeah.
Right. I think the unlock for me is just what would the person that's, got 10 million in the bank do?
Yeah.
What would the you do if you had that money in the bank? Because it's different than what you're thinking before, right? So have that perspective shift and then just aim for that.
Yeah.
Right. Because, like if people are doing the right things to connect and support and bring impact, like there's no world where that doesn't make you successful. So thinking it from a little bit of a different level. I think the other thing too that I've learned really has helped me is, everybody plans in like 1 or 2 year spurts, right? I'm like, what's my 20-year plan?
It's so funny you're bringing this up. In my head right before you went here, I was like, I'm gonna ask him if he plans, like if he does plan 2, 3, 5, and you're saying 20. So like that's how you operate?
Yeah. Like I want the things I'm doing today, like need to impact my 20-year plan.
Wow.
And it's funny when I hadn't started the IT company, people are like, oh, how are you going to figure out what you want to do next? And I'm like, well, I think I want to measure it with the amount of impact it's going to have. And then I figured out the timeline, because I built my business to 25 people and a pretty good sizable revenue number in under 9 years. Like it's amazing what you can do in 10 years. It's you can do a ton in 10 years, but not a lot in a year.
Yeah.
But it just like compounds, right? And so that 20-year horizon, like that takes me to 60, right? Which is like, okay, well, probably won't be retiring then, especially with the medical advancements now, right? Like, we can plan to live quite a lot longer now, right? But yeah, I think a 20-year impact just changes how you do things today, right? You're not worried that you like, oh yeah, we only made 10% profit this month. Like none of that stuff bothers me anymore. I'm just like, yeah, we're on plan. Great. Bigger picture. Yeah.
It sounds like a great place.
Yeah. The other thing too is like the thing with the longer plan is like it helps you like not make stupid little like reactive decisions.
Right.
And I think that's like where a lot of people end up getting in trouble. Right? You're acting out of desperation. You're kind of like, oh, we got to hit this goal and we got to do this thing. And then you like, your reputation suffers because you do something wrong because you're just focused on that little bit extra profit or something.
Yep.
And then that compounds instead of the positive. Right? And I think if you don't have that longer term vision, that can be the trap.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one thing you've said a couple times is the impact piece. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, I get the give back piece is like directly, there's impact there. Do you think about the impact on the business side too?
For sure.
And how does like one guy that doesn't know much?
Yeah.
I know IT, like I know what IT is. I have friends in IT.
Yeah.
For me, connecting impact and an IT, how do you connect those dots?
Yeah. So question for you. You're on Google?
Yes.
Because you're creative. Yeah. Do you back up your Google data to a third-party service?
No.
No. Go do that. Then you won't get hacked or something won't get deleted and you won't have a restore. There.
Gotcha.
Impact.
Helping people like
prevent issues that could be major.
Right. Which is a great example. Your that impact is not just, infrastructure.
Yeah.
Make things faster, quicker, secure.
Yeah.
It's actually it's helping them avoid situations where their life becomes fucking very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's a lot of risk mitigation in what we do.
Yeah.
And that's not even talking about AI data.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Fucking all the madness.
There's a lot more, right? But that's like most people are like, oh, I'm with Google or Microsoft. We're good.
Yeah.
And they don't realize it, just don't know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that small little impact, and it's not expensive to do that, right? I think the other thing too is that, yeah, like as a business owner, like we get to create things.
Yeah.
Like every one of the 13 people on our team right now, like we're we're impacting their life, their family, their future possibilities, right? And so if you can have that be a positive thing, and just the like butterfly effect that has, right?
Yeah.
Those people are going to go impact other people, and if you do that throughout your lifespan, and the majority of it's in positive ways, like people will be impacted that you don't even know, or they don't even know you impacted them.
For sure.
And so I think you're never really going to know the impact you had fully, right? You might know some specifics, but fully, I think you might not know. And I sure as hell, when I'm dying and I'm on my deathbed, I want to be like, yeah, like it was majority of it had to be positive, based on everything I did. Yeah. My MSP coaching business is named Impactful MSP.
You're like very intentional with this.
Yeah. Because I want to help people build impactful MSPs.
Yeah.
For them, for their employees, for their customers, right? If you think about like lawyers and accountants, very valuable partners in business, but IT people, like they can have a really big impact on their client. And you hopefully want that to be a good one, right? Because, I mean, especially with AI, and like we need to help people navigate just the uncertainty and the things that they're not experts in.
For sure.
And to do that, we need to understand their business. We need to really care about it as if it's our own, right?
Yeah. That idea of like coaching, like competitors, whatever.
Yeah.
Coaching people in your industry.
Yeah.
But when you slid in, like, it's great to help people, but the execution piece is the thing that like separates everybody.
Yeah.
That's why you can do this. Because are you looking at it, the world is abundant of opportunities?
Oh yeah.
And then understanding that nobody's going to execute on it.
No,
When I say nobody, that's an overstatement.
No,
but like,
I think I've kind of pinpointed, like abundance every day. There's enough business out there for me, and all my competitors. I think the key to me coaching other MSP owners is that the doing is never technical. It's always the like, oh, you should give away that thing to your client because of these things you haven't considered.
Yeah.
Like the goodwill, the long-term relationship, like none of the technical things. Like they've got all the technical stuff figured out generally.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't have the business skills. They generally don't like have the perspective of another business owner in their mind. And so just shifting that in a way that helps them really align what they offer with what's like makes a difference to the client. And then the little things, right? Like it's all about the little things you do and how you do them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, this is the fun piece for me, not doing any research.
Yeah.
It's like I'm learning this on the fly.
Yeah. A lot of that wasn't on the internet before.
For you to get into the universe piece, that is the highlight of this conversation for me. Because it's I feel like it's a fascinating conversation that needs more airtime. And so, so as soon as you went there, I was like, ding.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'll just follow your gut. If you're doing anything and your gut's like, oh, maybe this, just do that. Like, don't second guess it. Yeah.
So simple. I end the show with one question. When I say Calgary, where's your head go?
The first word that pops into my head is home. Calgary just feels like home. One of my goals is to live in New York for like a year. But with that in mind, like I know I won't stay there. Like I know every time I come home to Calgary, I'm like, Calgary is the place. There's just something like crazy special about the city. And I think it's the people. Like, frankly, it's the people. We've got that grit. We've got, lots of perspectives. We've, all this like tariff stuff, and nobody in Calgary is really panicking. I've kind of joked. I'm like, yeah, we've been there. We've gone through the ups and downs. We know maybe there's a down coming. Well, no, we know there's a down coming. We know we'll be able to get through it.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. Like I've seen that confidence shift in the last decade in Calgary. There was way too much panic before that. and now we've got that confidence, I think. Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
Cool to meet you.
You too, man.
A lot of people also don't know this is the first time I meet people.
Yeah.
It's a very unique situation.
It's fresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
good to connect.
Yeah. Thank you.